Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, depending on where you are in the world. We'd like to present to you three articles of interest. Before they do that, I would like to let you know that this is for review, informational, and educational purposes. It is not to take the credit for the intellectual property of the article. The full credit to the intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, which in this case is USA Today, and the story by Francesca Chambers. Before I start the news review, I would like to welcome all the people here on Facebook Live. I certainly do appreciate it, and I hope you do enjoy and find value in being informed with the latest news. Now let's get to the article itself. Headline reads, Trump predicts trade deal with China, vows 100% chance of EU agreement. Out of Washington, President Donald Trump says he expects to reach trade agreements with China and the European Union, with the latter one coming at the end of the 90-day pause for a tit-for-tat tariffs between the trading partners. Quote, there will be a trade deal 100%, unquote. Trump said ahead of the April 17 luncheon at the White House with Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. They want to make, quote, they want to make one very, very much, and we're going to make a trade deal. I fully expect it, but it will be a fair deal, unquote. As to whether EU is a primary, that is, of course, a priority for the administration, Trump said, quote, everybody's on my priority list, unquote. Kind of defeats the purpose of a priority because it means what's most important first, kind of like saying favorite, but suppose he is exaggerating to make a point. All right. Trump also said he was not worried what U.S. allies were growing closer when with China as a result of tariffs, and predicted the United States would also make a very good trade deal with Beijing. Quote, nobody can compete with us, nobody, Trump said. Trump's administration has said that more than 75 nations have sought to make a new trade agreements with the U.S. since the president announced his reciprocal tariff plan, and that is in early April. At least 15 have submitted proposals, the White House has said. A Japanese trade delegation met with Trump and the members of the administration on April 16. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, or Bessent, however you pronounce it, said South Korea was also visiting next week, and that talks with India are also moving fast. And I'm going to pause this here. In a related video, China reportedly opened a tariff conversation with U.S. as per Fox 13 Seattle. That will be available upon publishing a review, but not actually on YouTube, but only on Rumble, as YouTube does actually block links to articles that's in the comment section, as in they don't allow it to be put in the comment section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the name of my Rumble channel and the link to my Rumble channel, which is another social media video sharing site similar to YouTube. And what you'll do is you'll go to my channel, click on the link that will be in the comment section of YouTube, right? And then what you'll do is you'll be able to go to this page and you'll be able to watch the video accordingly. Let's move on. Meloni is the first European leader to meet with Trump since he imposed the blanket tariffs on most nations. He put a further reciprocal tariff on the EU that is currently paused for 90 days, with trade negotiations takes place. EU temporarily halted planned retaliatory tariffs in response. At the White House, Meloni said she had confidence that a trade deal could be reached. Quote, I'm sure we can make a deal, and I'm here to help with that, unquote, she said. Quote, I cannot deal in the name of the European Union, Meloni said. Quote, my goal would be to invite President Trump to pay an official visit to Italy and understand if there is a possibility when he comes to organize also such a meeting with Europe, unquote. Maloney also said she believes the best way to negotiate is to, quote, simply speak frankly, unquote, about the needs that each party has, and she was at the White House to, quote, find the best way, unquote, to make them best stronger. Oh, both stronger, excuse me. Quote, we're going to have very little problems making a deal with Europe or anybody else because we have something that everybody wants, unquote, Trump responded. The Italian prime minister, who belongs to the conservative Brothers of the Italy party, said she considers the U.S. to be a reliable trading partner. Maloney said she was at the White House to, quote, make the West stronger, unquote, and support the Western unity. Quote, I think we simply have to talk, she said, and find ourselves in the best middle way to grow together. She added, quote, if I wouldn't think it's a reliable partner, I wouldn't be here. That's a reasonable thing to say, in my opinion. Ahead of you is a picture of this place where they're negotiating, having trade talks here. And caption reads, U.S. President Donald Trump meets with Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni in the Cabinet Room at the White House in Washington, D.C., U.S., April 17, 2025. Copyright Evelyn Hochstein, as per Reuters. Trump has yet to meet with the European Commission President Ursula der Leyen since taking office. However, the EU's trade chief held talks in Washington with the U.S. counterparts earlier in the week. The United States had a substantial trade deficit of $235.6 billion with the bloc in 2024. According to the Bureau of Economic Analysis, it was second only to China, which Trump hit with a 145% tariff hike. All right, so moving on. Trump has not spoken to China's Xi Jinping since the trade war began, but he said during the Maloney visit with his Treasury Secretary seated nearby, quote, I think we're going to make a very good deal with China, unquote. The two leaders continued talks in the Oval Office after luncheon. They indicated they would be discussing Russia's war against Ukraine and defense spending. Trump has called for every NATO member nation to spend 5% on the GDP on defense. And the author points out that the story has been updated with more information. And this article originally appeared in USA Today, entitled Trump Predicts Trade Deal with China, Vows 100% Chance of EU Agreement. Okay, with that said, let's go on to the next article. All right, so our next article. The article is so before I read this, I would like to let you know that this is for review, informational and educational purposes. It is not to take the credit for the intellectual property of the article. The full credit to the intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, which in this case is the Telegraph, and the author is Opinion by Telegraph View. Caption reads, Britain must decouple from China. Okay, so ahead of you is the Prime Minister of Britain, what might a lot of people might call England. The prospect of a trade deal with the United States was one of the great promises of Brexit, while the European Union slipped into a regulatory quagmire of its own making, obsessed with governing every last facet of economic life. Washington has chosen an alternate path marked by rapid growth and technological development. Curiously, Donald Trump's, quote, Liberation Day, unquote, tariffs may now have brought the long-held ambition closer to reality than ever before. The White House appears eager to emphasize its willingness to do business and the affinity of the president of his colleagues for Britain's culture, and people make the UK a natural partner for an early deal. US officials believe terms could be finalized within 3 weeks. This could be a boon for British consumers and exporters. It is not, however, one which is likely to be achieved without some changes, of course, from Downing Street. The White House's approach to tariffs appears to be coalescing around a strategy of denying Beijing access to foreign markets. Yet, as conservative leader Kemi Badenoch has noted, the government has yet to develop a quote proper plan and proper strategy for handling relations with China, simultaneously inviting investment while also attempted to pare back the country's presence in a critical national infrastructure. Now, in a related video, if I can just skip this commercial, you know how they have to have commercials here. Try to skip the ad. There we go. Pause that. In a related video, Granville, Brexit showed us that many may not hold all the cards. Excuse me. Brexit showed us that you may not hold all the cards, as per CNBC. And that video will be available upon publishing of this review, but not on YouTube, but only on Rumble, because YouTube does not allow links in the comment section, even if it does refer back to the original article with an embedded video, which ironically does point to YouTube. So what I'll have is I'll have a link. I'll actually have a link to my Rumble channel in the YouTube comment section and the name of my Rumble channel. So what you'll do is you'll go to my Rumble channel, click on the link that's in the comment section of my Rumble channel, and then you go to this page and you'll be able to watch the video accordingly, just so you know as a heads up. Now let's continue with the article. Pretty much the article ends saying, while there are other potential stumbling blocks for the deal, notably the UK's swath of speech restricting laws and the burdens they place on US tech companies, is our incoherent approach to China which appears most problematic. Sir Keir Starmer should race to correct this. It is a rare opportunity to claim two strategic victories at once. So this is according to the author here. Excuse me. Let's go to the third and final article of review. And as I do with every article, I will give you the disclaimer, which in this case is that this is for review, informational and educational purposes. It is not to take the credit for the intellectual property of the article. The full credit to the intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, which in this case is Fortune, and the story by Emma Burleigh. Caption reads, Uber's CEO says learning these two subjects in college is an absolute necessity for any Gen Z grad eyeing up management roles. Well, if you're gonna aim, you might as well aim high, right? That's the idea. All right, let's pause this video. And like I said earlier, this video will be available upon publishing of this review, but not on YouTube, as YouTube does not allow links to articles, even if it does have the embedded link in the actual website here on msn.com. And so what you'll need to do is you'll need to go to my Rumble channel. What you'll do is you'll either put the name of my Rumble channel, go to rumble.com and put the name of my Rumble channel, or you can just click on the link that's in the comment section of YouTube. You'll be able to go to my Rumble channel, right? And then what you'll do is you go to the video that has the same sort of heading as this one. And what you'll do is you'll click on the link. So basically select copy and paste it into the address bar up here, you see. And then, and then what you'll do is you'll go to the website and then you'll be able to watch the video that way. So let's continue on. Uber CEO Adara Karashouti, I don't know, pronounce their name right, said studying engineering and liberal arts in a college was an absolute necessity to being a leader. Public scrutiny and AI has shifted expectations for leaders to be both tech savvy and emotionally in touch. Aspirational Gen Z need to marry both IQ and EQ to snatch the corner office. Let me just disagree for a moment, because we are doing a review and not just a sort of just regurgitating the news. Liberal arts is one of those degrees that actually has one of the lowest rates. As last time I checked the statistics, it has one of the lowest rates of actual job placement, especially that relates to the major. In contrast, if we talk about science, technology, engineering, manufacturing, or business, now we're talking about actual categories of majors that actually have decent placement rates for people coming out of the university. I would warn people not to major in liberal arts simply because it doesn't have a high job placement rate. Okay, so you can disagree or agree, but that's what I've studied. Um, Actually, there's a book I can recommend, and no, I'm not getting any commission or anything. I'm just saying it because it's a book you should read. There's a book I read. It's from actually I bought it from Amazon. It's called Worthless by Aaron Clary, and he goes over all the majors, like the major, you know, all the typical categories of majors, and he talks about which ones are good to major in terms of getting a job and other considerations. I recommend you get that book, as in purchase this book and read it. This will go into detail about my point, but actually is you need practical skills that will immediately land you a job, or if you can be a successful entrepreneur, that's the other route you can go. So just my opinion on the matter. So let's continue on. Leaders are under intensifying pressure to have it all, a grip on the advanced technology, storytelling skills, and a personality that promotes the business. That's why Uber CEO said there are two essential college courses that any Gen Z is aspiring for the corner office should be prepared. Take to be prepared. And of course, this is her opinion, which if she's going to say liberal arts, I don't agree, but let's continue on with her opinion. And she says, one of my secrets is really that I don't, excuse me, that I do give Brown credit for this. It's balanced education, and it's kind of that I kind of stumbled on. Derry Grashahasi, and excuse my pronunciation there, but that's what it is, said recently during a panel at the Ivy League college, his alma mater. Okay, so it's a man, not I don't know if it was man or woman. I guess it doesn't matter. Quote: learning all of the really important basics of engineering, then marrying them with liberal arts. That's really taught me to communicate in a compelling way, which is an absolute necessity when you in a leadership position. Well, guess what? Let me just interject my opinion here. You don't need to have a liberal arts degree to learn how to communicate. Okay. Uh, I remember back some decades ago when it was already sort of expected that a person would already be able to do that just as per being a well-rounded individual, that they would already know how to communicate. So there seems to be a breakdown here, but my opinion is that you don't need to have a liberal arts degree to learn how to communicate yourself effectively. Okay. But anyway, uh, Kajirasi majored in engineering at Brown University, graduating in 1999 before embarking on a squiggly career climb to the C-suite, working across finance and technology. He started off at an investment bank, Allen and Co. Later, taking on executive roles at USA Networks, now called Interactive Corp. That is abbreviated as, or its acronym is IAC. While at the company, he was instrumental in passing a $1.3 billion deal for the business to buy Expedia from Microsoft. It was a move that positioned the U.S. travel agency to one day grow into an industry giant, and a few years after the acquisition, Grozowski became Expedia's CEO. During the tenure from 2005 to 2016, the company's revenue swelled from 2.1 billion to 8.7 billion. Okay, so that's quite good. And ahead of us, I believe, is a picture of this person here. And you have to excuse my pronunciation, but it's Dara Kacharahasi said studying engineering and liberal arts in college was a quote absolute necessary to become to being a leader. Copyright Michelle Turchalansi Tentusi, uh, as per Getty Images. Again, I don't agree because based upon the placement rates, based upon what I see coming out of the university, I'm not very impressed. But of course, I'm only speaking for myself when I say that, as that is my opinion. In 2017, he took the helm of $141 billion ride-sharing giant Uber. And in Kozhorowski's eyes, it hadn't taken those classes during that time at Brown. He might not be where he is today or taking home a $39.4 million salary to show for it. Well, Since when is the main academic focus being on liberal arts is how people become PhDs? I mean, not PhDs, but yeah, that also CEO or some successful C-suite individual. So we continue on with the article. It says engineering taught the CEO quote how to solve complex problems unquote. Well, liberal arts said he adds just captured my heart. Well, that's suspect. Okay. Sorry, I don't agree. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think liberal arts is what captured his heart, but what is that supposed to mean? I don't know. I'll let you guys come to your own conclusion about that. So moving on. But really, Quarshorowski's education was the perfect marriage of what shareholders, consumers are looking for in leadership. Technical and emotional intelligence. Gen Z students looking to climb the totem pole one day would take note and get invested. I can tell you that people who go to college don't get emotionally intelligent. I think that's an individual thing in terms of your own experience and your own sort of background. So I don't think a liberal arts degree is going to make you emotionally intelligent. Sorry, I don't have a high what they call EQ. But anyway, again, just my opinion. Gen Zers with an engineering degree could earn $500,000 plus. Many Gen Zs are torn between whether a degree is useful or not. Alongside astronomical tuition costs and a tough white-collar job market, some leaders contend that the college education isn't as valuable as it once was. Well, amen on that. In my opinion, the cost has only gone up because it can. But in my view, also, I will say that the value hasn't gone up with the cost. So yes, that is a good point to mention. Indeed, getting a college degree isn't always the golden ticket to the upper echelons of society, even at the very top. Only two of the eight Ivy League schools, University of Pennsylvania and Princeton University, actually land their students in a six-figure salary a decade into their careers. And 43% of those who invested in an advanced degree yielded a negative return on their educational investment. So if those themselves are negative return, well, what more would a liberal arts degree where what are you going to do with that major? Okay. But shelling out for a degree can be well worth it depending on where Gen Z attend and what they study. Those who get a bachelor in nursing, economics, computer science, and engineering, like Koshirasi, tend to reap a positive payoff of $500,000 or more. So it's over 10 years, of course, easily, yes. Of course, that's before taxes and everything, unless we're talking about net uh, pay. But yes, those make sense. But the thing is, liberal arts, I think that's kind of a joke. Just my opinion. CEOs in the modern day, empathetic leaders with AI savviness. Corporations are under public microscope. Meanwhile, stakeholders increasingly wary of how their CEO's behavior seeps into business. Just take the crushing boycotts and vandalization of Elon Musk's Tesla plants, for example. Amid public outrage at the CEO's intrusion into US politics, dismantling government agencies with DOGE, that is DOGE, that's the acronym standing for Department of Government Efficiency. Hurling thousands of federal workers into unemployment, the automotive company became the punching bag of Musk's behavior. Shareholders were furious. Well, there is more to that story. People see that, but they don't realize that there are a lot of inefficiencies. Just like this, just like if you're running an organization, whether it's profit or for nonprofit, if you have a position that you can have one person do instead of two people doing the same job, of course you're going to cut back, right? I mean, just like when you have companies merge, they don't say, oh, they don't point the finger at the person and say, oh, poor worker who got laid off. Yes, it's not nice, but the same thing, that is at the same time, we have to consider that we have to be efficient in what we do. It's just that nobody wants their job taken away. And the thing is, it's because he's a conservative person. So that's what it is. And because you're connected with Donald Trump, which I don't understand why they don't like the guy, just because he's conservative. Anyway, opinions do vary, but yes, I think people, when they put themselves in the position of what's going on with that, they'll understand that They need to be savvy with how they use money. And so the author goes on to say that that's why emotional intelligence, sensitivity, customer sentiment are quickly becoming hot trails for CEOs. There was 31% increase in C-suite leaders featuring soft skills on their LinkedIn profiles between 2018 and 2024, like communication and conflict resolution. Plus, as robots and algorithms shoulder more routine tasks, humans are increasingly expected to take on emotional work. Quote, these people skills are going to become more and more core to not just how someone becomes an executive, but to work in executives. That is, but the work of executives. Mobilizing teams and building a company that is human centric. Anish Raman, Chief Economic Opportunity Officer at Indeed, told Fortune. It's an interesting title, Chief Economic Opportunity. Okay. Wouldn't be surprised if one company has Chief Fun Officer too. Okay. I'm being a little bit funny, but it's a slightly strange title, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, CEOs today are also expected to be tech wizards or risk being replaced by AI savvy leaders. And Gen Z students may also have a leg up as the digital native generation is more inclined to tinker with chatbots and co-pilots than others. The youngest generation of workers could be the fast track to management, even overthrowing their millennial bosses, as leaders say that AI aptitude already rivals experience. And the author liked to point out at the end that the story was originally featured on Fortune.com. What do you guys think of that? Do you agree with the author's sentiment? I would say that there's a certain common sense you have to have and certain life experience. And then there's certain jobs require a certain type of personality. So I don't, my conclusion is I think having the necessary skills is important, but just studying liberal arts gives you EQ? I don't think so. Sorry, I don't think so. Actually, I'm not sorry, but I don't think so. But anyway, before we conclude the review, I would like to ask your opinion about these three articles. The first one, namely, Trump predicts the trade deal with China, vows 100% chance of EU agreement. The second one is Britain must decouple from China. The third one is Uber CEO says learning these two subjects in college is an absolute necessity for any Gen Z grad eyeing up management roles. What do you think of those three articles? Are they interesting? Are they relevant to your life? And do they give enough information to get an overall understanding of the topic? You're welcome to give your opinion in the comments below, but keep in mind, I do ask that you, one, keep it relevant, and two, keep it civil, as we're only trying to contribute something positive to this experience. Keep in mind, the goal here is to grow our viewer base, where we have more people that are able to benefit by being up to date with the news. In addition to that, also we're trying to create maximum value where we're going to actually provide more for me to actually provide and review more of the value driven and relevant articles to people's lives. With that said, I would like to thank all the people who's watching this on Facebook Live and also who watched this on Facebook Live. That is also the people who watched the recorded version on Facebook Live. Now, or on Facebook actually. So what I'd like you to do is please click the thumbs up on the video. That way more people can see that it was of value, and also we're able to, other people be able to enjoy the article and be up to date with the news and able to gain that value from that. In addition to that, for all the people watching this, the recorded version, not only on YouTube, but also on Rumble and also on Daily Motion, what I'd like you to do is please click like on the video. That way it'll be pushed through the algorithm and more people would be able to view it and enjoy it. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button. That way you'll have access to all the content on this channel, as I certainly do have a variety of content on my channel for you to view and enjoy. And that's ranging from product review. So if you are a company who sources and produces a high quality, not only morally sound, but also especially ethically sound product, I'd be interested hearing from you in terms of doing your review. So I'd be interested in receiving the product or service And then what I can do is I can do a review for you. And then if you find that it's favorable for me to put it in my review for my future Facebook Lives, I'd be happy to do that for you. So also I do gaming reviews. So the gaming reviews is walkthroughs in games such as Dungeons and Dragons Online. If I in the future do play World of Warcraft, which I used to be kind of a semi-pro at, I also do that as well, and also tabletop RPG games as well. So also, in addition to that, I'm actually doing course reviews. So that would be giving the main points of courses, and also an overview in terms of a conclusion of whether I think the actual course is worth buying or studying. And in addition to that, I also am doing AI generated content. And what I'm referring to is fan fiction and also original content that is also partially generated by me and the AI to show not only the content itself for your entertainment and for also to be immersed in the experience, but also to show what AI can do. With that said, also would like to mention to you, if you haven't already, please click the bell button. That way you'll be notified of all my future videos. That way when a new video of mine comes out, you won't miss it because you'll be notified accordingly. So I'd like to wish you a great day wherever you are in the world. Take care, and I'll certainly talk to you next time. Bye for now. Stay tuned for some awesome gaming content. Bye for now.